Hey, lovers. So, if you think your positive thinking and affirmations aren't doing the trick when it comes to loving yourself more, you're probably missing a crucial step. And I'd like to share what that is with you today. So, welcome to this afternoon's Cuppa with Katie. It's a beautiful Friday. I have just arrived back home, a little bit windswept, actually. I've been on the beachfront in Hove. I had an excuse to go down there. My osteopath is based down there, and I went for a quick realignment of my lower back, which has been slightly pulled out because of my very pulley, big, heavy dog. My little body isn't used to being dragged about by a 25 kilo puppy. So I've had to have a little adjustment on my back today, and then I went for a nice walk along the beachfront. When I say nice, it was nice. It was fab, and the weather was hectic, like really, really windy, and the waves were enormous. And I got myself a hot chocolate and just stood and looked out at the ocean. I did a little video actually. I popped it onto Instagram earlier and looked at the ocean and was just blown away. And yeah, it was beautiful. I can still I sort of feel my energy a little bit off center actually because of it. But it was gorgeous. So good to be out in the elements because I don't know about you, but you're probably like me, spending a lot of time in the safety and coziness and comfort of your home. I'm not out in those elements that much. I mean, I'm out every day in the woods walking with my dog. So I am out in the elements every day, but there's something about standing on the edge of the ocean when there's a massive wind and just watching the waves. They were really close to shore and they were huge and really crashing. And yeah, it just felt really good and enlivening to be in nature in that way. Hi, Linda. Yes, the osteopath is divine. Just being in his energy is, I find to be very, very healing. Actually, before we even start speaking, before he even touches my body, I feel like I'm in the right place. So yeah, it's absolutely delicious. I love it. Thank you for asking. Nice to see you too. Okay, so I was on a group coaching call yesterday with my Evolution membership group, and one of the women asked a really great question. And it took us down a track where we discovered something that she was doing when it comes to positive thinking and using her affirmations, and why she still was feeling like she wasn't enough. And like this whole idea of deep, true self love, self compassion, self worth felt like a ways away. And it's because she's missing a step. And it's so easy to do. And I genuinely don't think that this step is taught enough. I'd like to share it with you today. So some of you will be watching, and please say, I can see a few of you joining. Please say who's on live so I know who I'm speaking to. And some of you here live now may well have been on that call yesterday. So forgive me, I'm going to do a little repeat. In my experience, though, hearing things more than once in slightly different ways helps to really embed and receive the awareness and the learning. There's levels and layers to our personal growth, right? So we were chatting about how she's using her affirmations, and she's just, she's so diligent and she's so committed to herself, as all of my clients are, as you watching probably are. Oh, hi, my darling. Hey, Leanne, good to see you. Um, and that's awesome. So, like, okay, rewind, Katie, rewind. So what she was doing was noticing. Hold on, let me just move this off my screen. Oh, hi, Teresa, darling. Good to see you. Sorry, I've got screens popping up at me. Do you know, I'll tell you what was popping up at me. Just, it'll give you a giggle. I put a Zoom, while I went down to see my osteopath this morning, I set my laptop up in my lounge room on a Zoom call that I could dial into from my mobile. And I recorded it because it was focused on where I know that my dog sits. And I filmed him while I was out, and I watched him for some of my trip out, and then I got kicked out of Zoom. So I'm looking forward to seeing like the recording of the end of the time that I was out. I just want to see how he is when I'm out. I have a feeling he's absolutely fine, but I just wanted confirmation. So Zoom has just finished uploading the recording of my dog's behavior while I was out and about. Teresa, yes, you're intrigued. Great, right. Stay intrigued. I've got juicy goodness for you coming right up. Hi, Sarah. Good. Yes, Sarah's up for the repetition. You were on the call yesterday. Love a bit of repetition. Okay, Sarah, you were on my mind while I was on the beachfront just now, actually. Yeah, I'll let you know later. Um, okay, so this particular client, and this is the process that we go through, and you can probably relate. You notice something triggering you, or you notice your mind, because you're a conscious woman, right? And you're choosing to not live, well, unconsciously, you're choosing not to sleepwalk through life. You're choosing to be alive to what is going on in your thoughts. Because remember, we feel our thinking. Okay, so you are that woman, and you're consciously going about your day and you're noticing what's going on in your mind. Yeah, rather than your mind taking you on some roller coaster and treadmill through life, you're alive to it and you're noticing that your thoughts are self-sabotaging. Perhaps they're saying you're not enough. Perhaps they're saying you should try harder. Perhaps something's triggered you and it has you go into a whole other level of self-criticism. You're noticing your thoughts. And what you'll probably do, and this client was sharing yesterday, so what she does is she notices the thought, I'm not good enough, I'm not trying hard enough, I need to do better. And she was then going into, okay, that thought's not serving me, so I'm going to choose a loving thought instead. I'm going to choose to tell myself, you are enough, you are trying hard enough. I am amazing, I am wonderful. So she was using her affirmations, and that's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's better than doing nothing. It's better than allowing your thoughts to just like be a train that just running away with you. Yeah. But the reason why she wasn't receiving the goodness of her affirmations, and the reason why she wasn't having the experience of integration, in that her new belief systems were becoming the truth of who she is, the reason why she's not experiencing the juiciness and the fulfillment of that is because there's a step in between noticing the sabotaging thought and the positive affirmation that needs to take place. And that step is noticing the thought, let's use I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not wealthy enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not whatever it is. I'm not enough. And the dialogue within, I would invite you, could go something like this. Darling, I know you don't think that you're enough. I know that you think that you should try harder. I know that you are absolutely exhausted by this constant voice in your head that's telling you that you're not good enough, that you should do more, that you should be more, that you've forgotten something. I see you. I see you doing your best every day. I see you getting up out of bed every morning. I see you remembering to pay that bill that day. I see you remembering to call that client. I see you spending time thinking through that, the pitch or proposal that you're going to deliver. I see you putting your everything into it. I see you trying your best every single day. And I'm proud of you. I see you trying your best. I see you doing your best. I see you approaching your self-development with so much enthusiasm and such desire to get it right. I'm proud of you. I see you trying to be the best parent you can be. I see you trying to be the leader you desire to be, the employee you want to be. I see you trying your best, and I'm proud of you. And I know you're exhausted. And I'm here to remind you that you are so much more than enough. I'm here to remind you that you're an unlimited spiritual being. So it kind of goes without saying that you're enough. You're unlimited and full of potential. You're amazing. I love you so much. So can you see what happened there? Can you see what came in the middle of the between the affirmation and the noticing of the negative self-talk? There was a compassionate acknowledgement that what she is thinking is her truth and reality in that moment. To go straight from I'm not enough to I am enough. I'm so much more than enough. Come on, buck up. Remember that you're enough. The bit that's missing is I hear you. I hear you that you don't feel enough. I see you. I acknowledge you. That's the bit that's missing, because when we go straight to an affirmation, when we skip straight to positive thinking, in a way, we're kind of saying to ourselves that thing that we're trying not to do is wrong or it's bad and we shouldn't. But it makes bloody sense to sometimes, like, it's part of the normal, natural human experience, is it not? To often think, I should try harder. I'm not doing well enough. I wish I could be a better parent. The guilt that comes from parenting and never being enough as a parent. Like, isn't that part of the human experience? And to completely ignore that in that moment is my reality and skip straight to a positive affirmation is actually, I feel, is actually quite detrimental to knowing and loving ourselves, because we're denying a truth about ourselves in that very moment. And we're moving forward quickly. We're skipping over into how we think we should be instead. So while if you're practicing affirmations, if you're noticing your self-critical thinking and going into an affirmation, hey, that is way better than just allowing your self-criticism to run away with you. It's way better. It's great. You're doing great. And now I'm inviting you to bring in the extra step. I'm inviting you to acknowledge that how you feel right now, what you're thinking right now, it's okay. It's understandable. And be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself. You're always trying your best. Give that to that part of you. Because here's what's probably going on. Usually the part of us that's saying I'm not enough, I'm using that as a blanket statement, because really every negative critical self-thought we can have, when we really explore it, we can probably boil it down to I'm not enough. And probably the I'm not enough piece, that wounding, probably originated in your childhood. So for example, if I'm about to go speak on stage, I will get nervous. Doesn't matter how often I do it, I get nervous. And sometimes then with the nerves, then comes some negative spiraling thinking, which takes me down a rabbit hole of, you don't know what you're doing. Who do you think you are? Oh my God, you're, what's the word? That imposter syndrome thing. You're an imposter. You're a liar. You're not the expert. You don't know what you're talking about. La, 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 la. All this nastiness, right? But if I look underneath it, there's a real fear of judgment, of not being good enough, of being criticized. So that the mean thoughts are often kind of, there's usually like a vulnerable sub-level to them, which is I'm actually really shit scared that I'm going to get judged and no one's going to like me, right? And when you really look at and feel into those thoughts, they don't feel like a 46, nearly 47-year-old woman. They feel like the thoughts of a little girl, for me, for example, that doesn't know what 46-year-old Katie knows, hasn't had the life experience she's had, hasn't had the training she's had, has never spoken on stage, doesn't know how to hold the space of an audience. Like, she doesn't know. She's not meant to. She's a little 5-year-old girl. And so often when we're working with the self-criticism, we can often notice that it's coming from a younger part of ourselves. It could be our teenage self, it could be our 5-year-old self, but it's usually coming from a part of us that wasn't acknowledged at that point in time. And so our job as the very capable woman who's choosing to love herself is to notice that, oh, right, that's probably a younger part of me that's coming up for attention right now. And so I'm going to really acknowledge that part of me. I'm not going to say, hey, remember that you're good enough. She doesn't know that she's good enough. Darling, I hear you that you don't feel good enough. I hear that you're scared. I hear that you don't know what to do. I hear that you feel like you're trying so hard and it's just never really cuts the mustard. I hear you. And I'm here to tell you that you're amazing and you're wonderful. And I love how hard you try. And I love watching you. Every time you fall, you get up again. I love your persistence. I love your determination. You are absolutely doing your best. And so I'm inviting you to remember that you are so much more than enough. And then in the case of adult Katie, who's having to go speak on stage, you don't have to speak on stage. Adult Katie's going to do that. She knows how to do that. She has the qualification to do that. You, my darling, you don't need to worry about it. I got this. And so suddenly this whole conversation is now becoming a reparenting adult inner child conversation. But it's important to notice, just even through witnessing the adult reparenting the inner child conversation, you don't slap an affirmation on it. You don't ignore how the child is feeling. You ask her more about it. You would actually ask questions. You would explore it with a compassionate, loving, understanding ear. You would allow her to express her feelings, to share her worries and concerns. And then you'd let her know that you think she's doing great and that you're really proud of how hard she's trying and that she's enough. But there's that little conversation in the middle. That little conversation is you fully acknowledging all of you in that moment. You're not denying anything about yourself. And that full acknowledgement is how we build a sense of self-love. And every single time we fully acknowledge exactly how we're feeling in the moment, without criticism, without trying to throw an affirmation on it, we're building self-trust. Because I'm saying to myself, Katie, no matter whether you're having a great hair day or a shit hair day, no matter whether you're thinking you're amazing and feeling so confident or just want to hide away from the world and thinking like you're a complete fraud, I still love you. However, whatever you're thinking, however you're feeling, whatever you're looking like, I'm acknowledging your experience of yourself right now with zero judgment. And every time I can do that for myself, every time you can do that for yourself, you're creating self-trust because you have your back. And it's unconditional love. Can you feel that? It's unconditional love. No matter how you're showing up, I still love you. I fully love and accept you, whatever your experience. And then let's work on rewiring that mindset, rewiring your brain to believe, to remember that you are enough. Does that make sense? Deborah is saying, this just made me cry. You needed to hear it then. Sarah's saying, wow. Teresa, gosh, it feels right to hear this today. Deborah's saying, I find it hard to do that. So is Leanne, me too. Sarah, this is the part that really holds the power. Deborah and Leanne, which part? Because obviously I'm reading the comments after sharing this. It'll take a minute for your comment to come through, but which part do you find hard to do? Which bit? The middle bit? The middle bit, the loving self-talk? Let me know. This is the part that really holds the power. Sarah said, Linda said, not enough is the root of so much negative stuff. Absolutely, from childhood. Inner critic is usually from one or both of our parents. Yes. And teachers and other caregivers and society. And, I look back at, I used to read a magazine when I was a young teenager in Australia called Dolly. I don't think Dolly is, Lisa's on. Lisa, you're in Australia. Is Dolly still a magazine? I don't know if it is. But this it was, it was a great magazine for teenage girls. But oh my God, did it become for me at the time like how I should look, what I should say, how I should speak to boys, how to give a good blowjob, like it was all in there, and that was like the 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 marker for being good enough for me as a teenage girl. That stuff has an impact. Sarah, it was the advice about how to parent that inner child that was a massive breakthrough for me. I know how to be a nurturing, loving, listening parent. So I was suddenly able to apply that to my inner child. So practical, yes, right? Exactly. Because you know how to parent your child, that maternal instinct. I mean, Sarah, for you, and actually I was thinking about you and this when I was on my walk at the beachfront this morning. That maternal instinct, that maternal drive is so strong. It's so beautiful. Your presence to your child is powerful. The unconditional love is powerful. If your daughter, Sarah, says to you, I'm not feeling good enough today, and I'm worried about this, and I don't think I'm going to get that quite right, you're not going to go, just remember that you're enough. You're not going to do that. You're going to go, I hear you, sweetheart. Yeah, I bet that feels hard. I can imagine you'd be worried about that. And remember, I do see you trying your best. Like that chat, like that's the conversation you'd have with your daughter. So self-love is inviting us to have that conversation with ourselves. Yeah. Because we are just little kids running around in adult bodies, aren't we? Yeah. And because we're running around in adult bodies, it's very unlikely that anyone's going to talk to us like the little girl inside of us needs to be spoken to. And actually, that would be a bit weird. And something I see, and I've experienced it in my own relationships, is when we look to the person we're in relationship with, or we look to other people to reparent us, it's so unhealthy. And that's a pressure to put upon somebody else that it's not okay. It's not their responsibility to reparent us. It's not my husband's responsibility to be the dad I never had. He's meant to be who he is in the world. And if I need to hear the loving voice of my dad, that I give that to myself. That's work I do with myself or with my coach or a therapist. I don't put that on my husband, right? Deborah, the positive in what I'm doing to talk nicely to myself. So it's to be practiced, my darling. Yeah, that's to be practiced. Lisa was saying I need to remember to do this more often. Yeah, and we all do. Not sure it's still around, but it was so important to read as a teenager. Yeah. Yes, Dolly magazine we're talking about. Yes. Deborah's saying, I've just pinned these I hear you, I see you on my wall to remind me. Right. I hear you and I see you. This is what we need to do for ourselves on a daily basis. I hear you and I see you. The more we can do that for ourselves on a daily basis, the less likely we are to be needing it from other people, needing other people to say, I hear you and I see you. Because looking externally for it, you're always going to be on the treadmill looking for it externally, and you wonder why you're exhausted, because you're always looking for the approval and the validation and the worthiness and the love. We have to learn to give that to ourselves. We have that within us for ourselves, and it is a daily practice. I've been doing this for years, and I have to still do this as a daily practice. And I still forget. This is what I call transformational amnesia, which is why I created Evolution membership. It's all about transformational amnesia. We forget. And so I've created this self-love membership so that every single day you're getting a reminder from me. I'm helping you. I'm guiding you. I'm reminding you of what you already know to be true, but we forget. And we do that through monthly coaching calls. We do it through monthly masterclasses with myself, with other experts. We do it through daily little love notes and memes and the community and the conversation that's constantly going on in there. We are all on the same page, desiring to live consciously, to love ourselves, to overcome the transformational amnesia that is just part of being human. That's what we're doing. Yeah. And so, Deborah, you putting "I hear you and I see you" on your wall is perfect, because that will help you to overcome the amnesia. Leanne saying, "Talking nicely about myself and thinking good things about me." I've become so much the last year with this. I think I know what you mean. But it's still hard to let go of old emotions and people in my head saying negative things. Yes, it can feel hard. And I would invite you to set the intention that it be easy. Yeah, because we can choose to believe that it will always be hard. So set the intention that it be easy, and allow and trust your process, because it doesn't happen overnight. Because depending on your age, we've got that number of years of conditioning and programming and habits and behaviors and ways of doing life and approaching life and reacting to life rather than responding. Like, we've got that to overcome. So self-love invites us to day by day by day, bit by bit by bit, commit. Day by day, love will come before fear. Day by day by day. We will overcome, we will grow, we will heal, we will evolve day by day by day. Allow it to be a step by step, bit by bit journey. Trust that when you set the intention to overcome and to heal and to move beyond those old emotions and what people used to say to you, trust that when you set that intention and create the willingness, life, God, the universe will show you the way that's right for you. It will show you your path. It will guide you to the next book to read. It will guide you to your next coach or your next therapist or the next talk to turn up to, or the next membership group to come join, because I want you to come join Evolution membership. If you're watching this and you're not in, come join us. The first month is free. It's kind of a no-brainer. Come try it. Don't like it, you can leave. Easy peasy. I've realized I probably need to get going. Sarah's saying, "Utterly so. I feel like a penny has dropped for me. All of a sudden, I know how to nurture, love, and help little Sarah." Amen to that. Good on you, darling. Good on you. I'm so glad to read that. You've been on such a journey. It's awesome. All right, my loves, I must go. I'm sending you all my love this Friday. Have a gorgeous weekend ahead. Be kind to yourselves. Be compassionate with yourselves. Allow your process, and stay connected here. There's more here for you. All right. Love you lots. Bye.